Before we get into today's episode, I just want to let everyone know that my Valley After Show recap for episodes 4 and 5 is up. So go to your feed and check it out. I am also recapping the secret lives of Mormon wives. If you head over to the Patreon, that's patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. You can either subscribe for a monthly or yearly subscription, or you can just buy the individual episode that you are interested in listening to. So check that out, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Welcome to the Bravo Papers, a safe space for all us Bravo fans who love to analyze, deconstruct, and talk about our favorite Bravo shows ad nauseum. So join me, Bravo and Botox, and we'll catch up on all the Bravo news and read way too much into our favorite shows and Bravo celebrities. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Bravo Papers, Bravo Weekly News, here with your host, Emily. I just want to start out today by saying thank you to all of you. Today I saw, for the first time ever, unless it's happened to me before and I just didn't know, that the Bravo Papers was in the top 200 for TV and film category on Apple Podcasts. So that is fantastic. I'm really excited. So yeah, it's a great thing, and I just couldn't do it without all of you. So I just want to thank you all. I want to thank, the OG people. I'm acting like this is an award. It's not. I'm just excited because, I've been doing this for a long time and I never thought that I would have kept going with it. I never thought that it would grow or get big enough to even get somewhere where you'd open the app and see it, without directly searching for it. So it's a stupid thing, but for me, it's exciting. So thank you for all my OG listeners and all the new listeners and the medium listeners, all of you, because you're all just supporting me and helping the podcast grow. And I hope you're getting some content out of it that you really enjoy. And, really my goal with this podcast was always to get my own mind off of all the troubles of the world, to be honest. I'm a person with anxiety. I always have been. I've always had really bad anxiety. And not to get too deep here, but I have always found these shows as a good distraction. It's always been like a coping mechanism for me. So, and I know a lot of you watch these shows and listen to podcasts to also get a break. It's like when you have a brain that's just going all the time, it's like sometimes a break where somebody else takes the wheel is just what you need. So I hope that my show helps you with that, and just, let us think about other people's stupid drama that doesn't really impact us. And then we don't have to think about our own stuff, right? It's just, that's always the goal. Entertainment, little bit escapism, never hurt anybody. Well, it probably did, but not us, okay? We're good. We're listeners, we're enjoying, we're not hurting anyone. We're just here to discuss and overanalyze our favorite trash TV. Although I don't really think it's trash, but we'll get into that another day. Okay. So thank you. And yeah, I'll stop rambling because we have news. We definitely have news. Okay, Mr. Andy Cohen says, what does he say? Let's see what he says. He says the BravoCon is coming. Okay. Him and Bravo, well, not just him particularly. I just always like to, put Andy on because he's like the face, right? But BravoCon 2025 tickets will go on sale on June 6, 2025. Because I even had, I think I had a couple people DM me and they were like, have you heard? This was a while ago and I hadn't heard anything. But it's going to be in Las Vegas from November 14th to 16th. No, I will not be there as much as I would love to go. I just really can't. For a variety of reasons, but the cost is one of the reasons. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I live in Canada and it's going to be I would have to pay for a flight. I live in the Toronto area, so it's not even a short flight and time change and all that jazz. And it's just not worth it for me. But that being said, I always intensively and extensively cover it on my on my Bravo and Botox Instagram. So like I am every single piece of story, information, picture, you know, people taking videos on their phones that have been shared. Like I will have that all on my Instagram stories. So on those days when BravoCon is happening, just go to my Instagram stories. It will all be there. I literally will share everything in one place. And then I usually do like story highlights to put all the BravoCon stuff together. And it makes me kind of feel like I did go, even though I didn't go. So maybe it'll make you feel that way too. And I've received compliments on my coverage of it. Coverage, quote unquote, if you can. You can't even call it coverage. It's just me sharing Instagram stuff. But listen, there's so much stuff that it's actually like my like brain, I like to have it all in one place. And the reason I do that, it is selfish because I end up covering it on the weekly news. But why not you also enjoy the spoils and fruits of my sharing, collecting, and putting into folders? Why not? We should all enjoy it. Okay. So here, if you want to go, and if any of you go, send me the tea, okay? If you go, take pictures, DM me stuff. That also happens all the time while you're there. Send me boots on the ground information and I will share it and report back to everyone else. Okay, we're all a family here. We got to support each other in our search for gossip. So you can go as a Bravoholic. That's a 3-day general admission ticket to BravoCon, which is $672.61 plus tax US. Okay, this will give you access to all 3 days of Bravo-filled fun at Caesars Forum. You'll get Bravo Leb photo ops by reservation, Bravo-themed experiences and photo ops. So I'm going to assume that means like picture photo booths with Bravo stuff and like, oh, I want to take a picture next to Kristen Doty's green dress. It's going to be shit like that. And again, I'm not like downplaying that. I would love that. Bravo Bazaar shopping experience, shop by Bravo on-site store with exclusive merchandise, option to purchase Bravo Palooza add-on experience pending availability, and option to purchase tickets to BravoCon Live with Andy Cohen shows at PH Live Planet Hollywood, etc., etc. You can also get future Bravo Leb, which is $1,463. So these are expensive. Okay, and this gets you like same thing, but also like VIP fast lane and stuff like that, priority access to certain things. So, it's a little pricey, okay? Like, you got to think about it. If you're going as a Bravoholic, $672 for 3 days, it is pricey. So I would expect that, listen, people are going to go. They're going to go. It sells out. People go every year. A lot of your favorite people will be there, Bravo celebrities, content creators, like people will be there. People are going to go. But that being said, do I think it's maybe a little too expensive for what you're getting? That's hard for me to say. A lot of people say it is. I have never been. So for me, like I would have to go in order to make that judgment. Okay. So if there's anyone from Bravo listening right now and you're like, hey, I love Emily on the Bravo papers, let me give her a free ticket. Okay, I'll be there. I'm coming. Like I'll pay for the flight. Just get me the ticket. Okay. When can I buy the tickets? So like I said, you can buy them June 6th. Mark your calendar. If you have like the Bravo app and stuff, you can get that. Who's going to be there? Okay, so the funniest thing is the first one because they're like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And you look under all the different headings like Real Housewives of Miami, Orange County, and there's like 7 or 8 names. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, one name, Dorit. So if you're this is insanity. I don't understand how only Dorit, who is arguably maybe one of the people from Beverly Hills I'm the least interested in seeing, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, like, I would rather see Kyle Richards because, and I don't even necessarily, we all know how I feel about Kyle Richards. I would legitimately rather see Kyle Richards. At least, like, Kyle Richards, I would be slightly more starstruck just because, like, I've been watching her for so goddamn long and because of, like, her siblings, etc. But, like, I still really, like, I wouldn't be Star Trek, but struck as much because, like, I don't care that much, but I would, like, I would still rather see Kyle. Why can't I talk right now? But Dorit, like, what's going on with Beverly Hills? Like, Bose can't go, Sutton can't go, Erica can't go. Why can't Erica go? What the fuck is she doing? Like, what's she doing? Re-wallpapering her hallway again? Okay, so then we have the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is like, and again, it's like the opposite. Like, they can all go. Like, all the other housewives shows, like, everyone can go. Sorry, Beverly, we're Beverly Hills. We're so busy. Like, I hate them sometimes. Okay. So we have Angela Oakley, Angela Oakley is going to have the best fucking BravoCon of life. Like, I, I would love to just like have like a GoPro on her head because she is such a breakout star this season of Atlanta that by far my favorite new housewife that I would go as far as to say in the last like 3 years, not even just this year. So the fact that she's going to come into this BravoCon after this fantastic season, she's going to have the best day. Okay. Britt Eady, wah wah, Cynthia Bailey, Drew Sidora, Kelly Farrell, Phaedra Parks, Portia Williams, Shamia Morton, and Sheree. Oh, Sheree's going. Whitfield. Okay, love it. And listen, Sheree should go. Like, I am all about past, present, and future housewives being there because that's what BravoCon's all about. And listen, Sheree is a staple. Like, Sheree is like a OG. She's an original. She's, you know, part of so many of our favorite classic memes. Like, Sheree should always be at BravoCon. Then we have Miami. We have basically all of them from Miami, including the new one, Stephanie, who I don't know much about yet. But yeah, Adriana, Alexia, Gertie, Julia, Kiki, Larsa, Lisa, Marisol. Orange County, we have Emily and Gina. I have to put them together. Gretchen. Oh, God. Okay. Heather Dubrow, Jennifer Pedranti, Katie Janela, Shannon Storms Bedore, and Tamra Judge. Of course, Tamra wouldn't miss it. Like, there's no fucking way Tamra's missing this. We all know that. Salt Lake City. Looks like everyone from Salt Lake City is going. Angie, Brittany, Bronwyn, Heather, Lisa, Mary, Meredith, and Whitney. Perfect. They would be idiots to not go. They're probably like one of the best housewives shows, if not the best right now. And then we have Below Deck, Aisha Scott, Ben Robinson, Fraser Olender, Captain Jason, Captain Carey, Captain Sandy. We also have The Valley. Okay. So Jax is going, guys. This is a mistake. Listen, you heard it here, maybe not first, because there's probably somebody else out there who's already talked about this, but not that I've heard personally, but Jax is going to be, there's going to be some issue. Something's going to happen. Or he's going to be on his best behavior because he's trying to like make sure that he doesn't lose. Like, he got fired off of Vanderpump Rules and then he somehow manages to claw his way back on television. And people were even like season 1, like, thank God Jax is back on my TV because he's a fucking psychopath, but he's entertaining and I need that entertainment. And he managed to fuck that up again. So, you know, he's going to be trying not to lose it. But yeah, so he's going to be there. So is Brittany, obviously, Danny, Janet, Jasmine, Jason, Jax, Jesse. The amount of J's on this show, I'll never stop talking about it, is insane. Kristen, Luke, Michelle, Nia, Zach. And then we have some others that are listed under The Valley, who are not really Valley cast members, but Tom Schwartz, Sheena, Lala, and Brock. Okay. You know, I could stomach literally all of those if they would just leave Lala off the list. She bothers me so much. I can't even deal with it. And you know, I used to like not mind Lala, but she has become so unbelievably insufferable since like season 11 of this show, but probably before then too, and I just don't remember. And then Kate Chastain is also going. Notably absent is Summer House, Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality, Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of New Jersey, and Real Housewives of New York. Okay, so Summer House is suspect. Southern Charm is also suspect because as far as I know, they are filming right. Well, no, I do know they're filming right now, so I don't understand why they're not there. Maybe I don't know. Maybe like I was gonna say during this time is when Southern Charm would be airing. So unless they're trying to avoid conflicts or like avoid spoilers, but that's not really like them. Like usually it doesn't matter. So I don't know if that's part of it, but okay, so that's a little weird. Summer House is weird too cuz Summer House would be like wrapped up from filming and gearing up for the new season. So now the reason that these shows could be left off though is because they haven't officially well, Southern Charm they have. I was going to say Summer House could be that they haven't officially announced the cast except Jesse and Wes, but I'll get to that when I get to the Summer House news. But they haven't officially announced who the whole new cast is going to be. So that could definitely be why. Southern Charm, I just really don't know because we know they're filming and there's already been pictures, but maybe there hasn't been an official announcement. Um, yeah, no, like we know Taylor's not on. They've been filming. I don't know. Southern Hospitality again. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't be included. Real Housewives of Potomac again. I don't know why. Like, hello, give me some Stacey. Real Housewives of New Jersey and New York. Those we know. We know what's going on with that. So I don't know. I can't give you the answers here, guys. But as soon as I get them, I will report back to you. In other Bravo General news, we are going to have Celebrity Family Feud coming up with some housewives. We've got Cynthia Bailey, Alexia from Miami, Ava, former Real Housewife of Atlanta, Dorinda Medley, and Melissa Gorga are going to be on Celebrity Family Feud. So good luck to them. Hopefully the housewives will take it. It's not the most like interesting group of housewives besides Dorinda. Like I'm not like dying to watch them. It's like, whatever. That's fine. Okay. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the Valley because I feel like I'm going to talk about the Valley and Summer House next because I already was kind of talking about them with some of this BravoCon news, such as Jax is going to be there and, and Jesse and West. First of all, Alex Baskin has debunked the claim that the Valley was being put on pause. Thank you. I did not share that on the news last week, nor have I shared it on my Instagram or anywhere else because I keep seeing this rumor everywhere. It drives me crazy when these rumors come up because there's no source. They're never from a reputable, like they're not from like People Magazine or something. Like they're from like some random blog website or some smaller thing, which like I'm not like trying to like insult smaller companies or little like smaller news blogs and stuff, but it's just like people just randomly say it and they claim they have a source. Anybody could say that, unless I hear something from like the network or like actually from Bravo or from like People Magazine or something like that, or even like Us Weekly. Again, they're not not always the most reliable, but even just someone who's a little bit bigger of a source, right? It's like, why does everybody take it? Like people take it as fact. And I was just like, why would it go on pause? It has high ratings. Even its quote unquote lower ratings are still higher than on some of the other shows. Like it's not going anywhere. Okay. So Alex Baskin said it's just not true, which of course it's not. Okay. So now let's go to Jesse and Danny, who were on Watch What Happens Live recently. So Jesse said that him and Michelle are finalizing their divorce and they pretty much have it like wrapped up. He says they've come to an agreement And he says, you know, he folded on some things so that they can just get it done. So he very much was making it out like, well, I, you know, gave in because, you know, it's just been so long and I just wanted us to get it done so we can all move forward. So, you know, he's a little bit like playing the like, I'm the hero in this situation. Like I was willing to bend and she wasn't. But listen, maybe that's true. Again, I don't know. And these two, God, to these two, like any other divorce, these two both have their own version of the story. So it's like, I take everything that they both say kind of with a grain of salt. Jesse also says, you know, when Michelle said, oh, Jesse's worse than Jax, it was because they were going through, you know, it was in that moment at a tough moment, but now him and Michelle are in a much better place. And he says they are in a better place than Jax and Britt. So, which, yeah, I'm not surprised about. Like I can actually see Michelle and Jesse once the divorce is finalized and they've worked out their agreement being like, I don't want to say it's going to be like peaceful and they're going to love each other, but just being more amicable than Jax and Brittany, 100%, because Jax is just so unstable in so many ways. Okay, what else? Danny said he would least, when asked, okay, it didn't come out of nowhere, he was asked who he would least like to be married to on the cast, the messy ass questions they ask on this show. He would least like to be married to, sorry, Janet. And which, like, you know, I don't think anyone was like too blown away by that shade, especially after this week's episode. But then he goes, yes, because she is a toxic individual. And I was like, okay, preach it, Danny. Danny says he was confused in this week's episode by why they were all coming at Nia. And he says he wasn't, quote unquote, hiding in the pantry. He said he went in to get a White Claw, saw the bottle of tequila, took shots, but it wasn't like he was trying to hide. He says that he honestly forgot that they were filming as well when he revealed what Jesse had said in the group chat about Michelle, you know, being a hooker or whatever he said. And he said he was tired. He had dad brain. It's hard for me to believe because they're so clearly filming, but he's like, I was exhausted. The camera was behind me. I forgot my mic was on. I was just like, he's like, that's why I was whispering. Like, he's like, it was just like, even all these years being in entertainment, like you have your moments. And I was like, I don't know if I believe that, but whatever. Either way, we don't care, Danny. We want the messiness on the show. Like, it's fine. Okay, so, but I guess he was kind of saying that because like Jesse's sitting right next to him, like, dude, what the fuck? Why did you say that? Okay, what else do we got? Jesse was also on the virtual reality podcast and said that Michelle didn't like the way that she was portrayed in season 1. So she came into season 2 with a very specific narrative about Jesse where he's basically 100% the bad guy. He also says that, which, listen, you are 100% the bad guy to Michelle. So, like, here's the thing, like, she believes that narrative, you know, like, that's her reality. So, you know, in one, you can interpret that as like, okay, she's coming in trying to villainize him, but you can also interpret it as like, that is her reality while you were filming this season. And maybe because you're fresh out of a divorce, maybe because you're poking at her and making the divorce difficult. It could be a variety of reasons. But on the other side, I can understand Jesse kind of being like, well, she didn't like how she was portrayed season 1. So she wanted to make sure that I, you know, was painted as the bad guy, which I can kind of see that because Michelle is working overtime at like, you know, telling us as many kind of what she sees as negative things about Jesse as possible. Now, some of them are fair and their responses to like Jesse saying that thing in the guys group chat, but then some of them, like when she was talking about his girlfriend maybe sleeping with the Baywatch guy, like that wasn't necessary. So, you know, I do see what he's saying, but I do think that they're both kind of doing this to a point. She's maybe been doing it a little bit more aggressively in these first few episodes, but we'll see what happens as the season goes on. And if you want like my recap and my thoughts on all of this, head over to Patreon, where I recap every Valley episode. I also recap the after shows here, so don't forget to check out the after show recap as well. So what else did he say? Oh yeah, he also says he's still dating that girl, so the one who was talked about on the show, and he says it's tough because she's being spoken about, but she's not on the show to defend herself, which that I have to totally agree with. That is the one where I think the girls are being kind of mean girls. Like, I understand that you hate Jesse and you have every right. Air out all of Jesse's shit. Talk as much shit about him as you want. He has signed up for the show. He's on the show. She's not there. Like, to talk about who she's sleeping with and like when she's not, like, I don't know. It just seems a little like icky to me. And I don't love that. And it's like all she did was like meet a guy, like him, and start dating him. And if she has done things that we haven't seen, like she's like bragging about her sex life at a party, etc., again, like it's not like on camera stuff. And like, I don't know. I just don't think you need to be talking about like, if she's cheating on Jesse, that's his business. Let him deal with it. You're his ex. Do you really give a shit if he's getting cheated on? I mean, you cheated on him too, so you must understand, right? So Jesse says Michelle was trying to deflect with the whole like him getting Venmoed money from a gay guy. It's like when you say this stuff out loud, it's like it's so stupid. But he says that the guy who sent him the money is a very good friend who they are both close with. They know well, they've traveled all over the place with this guy. They've gone to his house in the Hamptons. He's referred them to big clients. And yes, he sent Jesse money on his birthday. He says she's deflecting because she was getting suspicious deposits. The two of them with these fucking deposits. Maybe the two of you both get deposits and you should both be proud of that and stop using it like good. You're getting money from rich people who have more money than you. Okay, let's keep it moving. Like, I don't understand why they keep, like, I'd be like, yay, I'm getting deposits. Okay. I don't know. He says, you know, like she got one the week before they get divorced and then the week after they moved out, like all these like suspicious times. Here's my thing. How does he know? Like, I guess they must have like, do they still have like shared accounts? But like, wouldn't you get that to like a separate account? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Maybe he still had her like Venmo password. I don't know what is happening, but these two, I have never seen so much drama about like getting Venmos from like rich people. Like, if anything, it seems like the two of them, I'm starting to think, okay, here we go, conspiracy theory. There's a part of me that's starting to think that Michelle and Jesse together were like involved in something that was like real estate slash, I don't know, sex work. And I'm not saying that in like a like sex work is work, no shame, etc. And then maybe like they decided to have a baby and like Michelle was kind of like over it because there was these implications. I'm really going off the rails here, guys. Okay, tell me if I'm crazy. There were these implications last season that Jesse was like helping Michelle meet some like director. Like, remember the whole director drama? It wasn't just about cheating. There was something that someone said where like he would like facilitate these meetings or like that they would be like meeting these like rich, powerful people together. I don't know. Now I'm probably just completely off the rails, but that's my insane Bravo conspiracy theory for the week. It's probably not true. I really just pulled it out of nowhere. Allegedly, I'm not saying this is a fact, everyone. But yeah, like there's something with the two of them with getting money from people. I don't know. Like there's something else under the surface that maybe we're not seeing. And maybe it's probably not what I actually said, but there's a part of me that's like, and I'm not saying this would be like, oh, like he's like pimping out Michelle. That's not what I mean. I just mean like that the two of them maybe like had maybe, who knows? It could be like swinger-ish relationships with really wealthy couples who were like, when you guys need money, like not like a direct, let me pay you for sex, but just sort of like, you know, we have this kind of relationship and when you need something, I'm there for you. Like it could almost be kind of like that. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Let's keep going. So I really went off the rail with that. Okay, I think that's it for the Valley. Oh no, we do have one more. On Watch What Happens Live, they did a poll because we know these ultra scientific polls. And Nia and Danny were asking, are Nia and Danny authentic? Okay. Do you think that? And the poll, most people said yes. And Zach commented and said, agree. So yay. Okay. So Zach says Nia and Danny are authentic, guys. Okay. I mean, I think they're mostly authentic. I think they, like everyone else, they have some things that they're probably wanting to keep off camera right now. I suspect Danny does have a drinking problem. Again, I don't know. That's just my own opinion. It's not a fact. Much like my conspiracy theory about Jesse and Michelle, all just an imaginary opinion, not a fact. But I will say that, I think they're showing the part of their journey that they're at. And I think whether they're on TV or not, they're probably, if Danny is an alcoholic, let's say, maybe she'd be hiding this from her friends in real life, because a lot of people do that for a long time before it's like they can't do it anymore and they have to admit it or they have to tell people. So I don't think it's that inauthentic. Okay, let's talk about Summer House. So first of all, Lindsay is moving out of the apartment that she shared with Kyle. So she posted an Instagram and said, today is packing day, tomorrow is moving day. So yay, looks like it's kind of the end of an era. I think ugh, I didn't write it down. I could totally be making this up. I'm pretty sure though that she said that she has to move because I think the person who she's renting the apartment from might be selling it or something like that. I can't remember what the case is, but either way, she's moving out. From as far as I know, doesn't sound like she's moving in with Turner. I don't know if they're still together or not. Like she's so private about that it's hard to kind of like keep tabs on it. But I guess we'll see as time goes on, or maybe here, because, I'm sure in the next season of Summer House or RHONY or whatever show Lindsay ends up being on, she'll give us an update. Okay. Meanwhile, Jesse and West made an appearance on Watch What Happens Live. It was awkward to say the least, because these guys are friends and they have a genuine friendship, it seems. But it also seems like there is some things that they just don't agree on, or that the way that they approach things, especially when it comes to like interviews and media, being media trained, is different. And it seems like I think that Jesse particularly is like more conniving and, I don't know, like malicious, I guess. I don't know what other word to use, than West. And I think West is starting to see that. At least that's kind of what I took away from it. So let's get into it. So Jesse says he can somewhat. So when asked, can you see why why Lexi said she lost trust in you? Jesse says, somewhat. Sir, are you being for real right now? Somewhat? Okay. He's like, well, somewhat. He's like, specifically, I guess, with how hard I was flirting with Sierra. Okay. So why is that a somewhat? Like that's a fairly big thing. And you're not even including like the toe thing, which is clearly was way out of line. So, okay. Jesse also says didn't happen when asked about the whole thing of him being upset about West and Lexi flirting. So Andy's like, or the person who asked the question is like, well, what did you think? And they're asking this to West, by the way, not Jesse, but they say to West, what did you think when you saw like how upset Jesse was at Lexi about the two of you flirting, or allegedly, supposedly flirting? And then you hear Jesse say, kind of like under his breath before West answers the question, he's like, didn't happen. And Andy's like, what? What do you mean didn't happen? And I was really glad that Andy called him on this, but Andy definitely calls him on it and says it's on camera. And then even Wes turns to him, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, Wes is just not on the same page with a lot of this stuff, but he turns to him and he's like, you can admit it. Like, it's fine. Like, basically, like, if you thought Lexi was flirting with me or whatever, like, it's like, it doesn't mean you're like a bad person. And I would agree with him with that. I mean, he might be a bad person for other reasons, but he's like, you can admit it. And then Wes says, he's like, you know what? It was a drunken night. Like, nothing happened. And then Jesse says, no, I was like happy. Like, Jesse's really trying to spin this. He's like, no, I was like happy that we're all one big happy family. And then he says he was happy to see West and Lexi doing the same thing he was doing to Sierra. Okay. So you admit that you did think they were flirting, but he won't admit he was upset about it, is what he says. Like, see how he's still roundabout saying that the two of them were flirting when West and Lexi have kind of like stood in it. We were not flirting. Like, we were like platonic, having fun, whatever. But even to say you're not upset about it, that's also a lie. So then Andy again is not accepting this answer. He's like, and then Andy clarifies to West. He's like, no. I was talking, like, my question was to you about when you watched it back. He's like, did you think something? And West doesn't really answer the question. And then Jesse is like, he's just like, well, he literally goes, well, and then he doesn't answer it. And then Jesse is like, I guess I have to watch it back because I was sure, like, I literally said everything you and Wes were doing was just the same as Sierra and I. Okay, yeah, you did say that, but it's not just about what you said, it's about how you said it. And you were clearly upset. And you were clearly like saying that, like, yes, he was trying to use it as a weapon to be like, you can't be mad at me for flirting with Sierra and getting my toe sucked because you flirting with West was just as bad. So yes, in that sense, he was weaponizing it. And I guess he's trying to say, like, he's trying to put a positive spin on that, which is insane. But he's also trying to say he wasn't upset about the flirting when your tone and the way you said it and spoke to her would definitely communicate otherwise. So yeah, let's just be real about that. This man. Okay. And I was glad Andy didn't accept that. So when asked about how he feels, West is asked how he feels about seeing the full conversation between Jesse and Sierra. And how how does he feel about Jesse saying that he would have gone for it with Sierra if Wes hadn't like gone for it first? Wes says, it's fine. He gets it. He says Sierra is like a catch, so he understands. But he said, but then at the very end, because he seems like unbothered, and then this is where there was definitely awkwardness. At the very end, he goes, yeah, but I wouldn't have said that to Lexi, though. And then there's like an awkward look. They kind of like look at each other and not in like a fun way. And then he's like, so, it was weird timing, but we're fine. And I was like, are you fine? Like, I don't think, like these two have been kind of like, they were the two newbies. I think they were like strongly bonded because of that and like became fast friends. But if you think about it, like they really don't know each other that well and haven't known each other that long. And they are different in many ways. And I think West is kind of seeing that. And I think he's kind of like, this guy is like West kind of like, I don't think some people can disagree with me, but I don't think that he hooked up with Sierra for fame. I think he hooked up with her because she's super hot and he wanted to, experience what it's like to be with her, first of all. And he probably liked her and was like, let's just see where it goes. And then I think he, like many guys, unfortunately, he's not ready for a relationship. I think he slept with her and then he was kind of like, oh shit, I don't really want to keep going. And then he broke up with her. And I think that is like shitty and terrible. But that being said, I don't think it was specifically for fame. Like I know like Lexi said that on Watch What Happens Live, but I feel like I do believe Jesse said that to Lexi, but I think that's Jesse's projection because I think that's how Jesse like thinks that he would get more famous because he saw what it did for Wes. It's just hard for me to believe that Wes knew like Wes. I remember seeing him in an early interview and he was like, this meant like a lot of people watch Summer House. Like he didn't even know, like, I feel like he didn't realize that like dating Sierra was gonna, I don't know, put him up to that level. Nor did he know how popular he would be, because a lot of his popularity was from even before the whole like Sierra breakup. Like he was just popular on the season overall. Like you don't know. You can go in and everyone can hate you even if you think you're being like so great. So I don't know. To me, Jesse comes off, and I'm not saying like West is some like little angel or anything. I think what he did with Sierra was very calculated, etc. But I just don't think that his ultimate goal was fame. Whereas Jesse does seem like that's his ultimate goal, to be honest. Um, so Andy then asks if they are excited about next summer. And they're like, what? Does that mean we're coming back? And then Andy's like, yep, you two will be there. And then they both get like really excited. You can tell it's genuine. Like you can tell they didn't know that they were back next summer because casting's still happening. But it was funny because Andy was like, oh, no, you two messy asses who create tons of drama and ratings, your asses will be there. I don't give a fuck whether people are watching because they hate or love you. And listen, I've said this before and I will say it till forever. These shows run on fuckboys. They do. I'm sorry. And I know none of us want to admit that, but the truth is that these, like the non-housewife shows, a lot of them run on like dealing with fuckboys. And unfortunately, that is true. That is like, if you want to say anything else, if you want to not say that's not what Vanderpump Rules was about, I don't, you're delusional. We had 11 years of fantastic TV. And yes, some of it was the girls' dynamics with each other. Yes, I'm not saying that's not part of it, but a lot of it is like these guys that suck and the girls figuring out that they suck. And it's fuckboys and the women who date them. I don't know what else to say. Okay, so let's go to, oh yeah, Jesse confirms things were awkward between Tinks and Lexi on Watch What Happens Live. So Tinks and Lexi were on Watch What Happens Live, and yeah, there was confirmation from Jesse that things were awkward. A lot of people thought things were awkward from watching. I didn't think it was like until someone pointed it out, I didn't really like, I noticed they weren't like besties, but I was like, it's Watch What Happens Live. If I was on, I didn't really know the person, like maybe I would be like that. I don't know. But he says it's not because of him, because him and Tinks have been friends for a while. But he says it does get brought up on Tinks's podcast that Jesse was a guest on. It doesn't really get brought up, to be honest. Like I've watched a few clips and like, that are the ones that are like popular online. But it's more like they talk about his relationship with Lexi quite a bit. And I will say that Tinks seems very much like Jesse's side, or like she makes a lot of excuses for him. So maybe because she's more on his side. Maybe that's what he means. Another thing that he says is that he thinks the most significant thing he says on this interview is that he thinks people are starting to figure it out. I figure what out? He doesn't tell us. I think that's his way of saying figure out that like Lexi's like an evil genius mastermind. Which, yeah, some people have definitely turned on Lexi in the last couple episodes, but if he thinks that like she has some fault, she doesn't have any fault with the Jesse situation. Any fault that I'm seeing people picking at her with is more to do with like the way she's relating to the girls and the Sierra aspect of it. So if he thinks he's getting off scot-free in any way, shape, or form, he's delusional, as they say. Okay, what should we talk about next? Let's talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Because we haven't talked about them in a little bit, so why not? Teddy Mellencamp and Edwin are getting divorced. And the reason that this is like news again is because of her stage 4 cancer battle, of course. They had kind of like they were separated, but then they had kind of put things on hold, obviously, because she's going through this crisis, right? But their divorce, it was on hold. Edwin was helping taking care of her. She was staying at the home that they shared together for the last several months, and Edwin was dedicated to like helping her progress with her recovery. However, now she's like in a better place for now, knock on wood that continues inevitably. But at this time they are going to be going forward and they want to just kind of put an end to it, and they're going to finalize their divorce and it's amicable. So that's good. Teddy also shared good news about her stage 4 melanoma diagnosis on the podcast where she called in and spoke to Tamra. And she said, so last time they had checked my brain and those tumors were shrinking. And then today I had the scan where they checked my lungs and they are shrinking. One of them has shrunk so much you can barely even see it. So it's really, really good news. I'm definitely so relieved. What they said was, this is good news. It means my body is responding to everything, but I do need to live on immunotherapy for the next 2 years. So every 4 weeks for the next 2 years, I have to come in and get that done. And then every 3 months, I get another scan and we check to make sure that everything is where it is. Wow. Wow. What fantastic news. I think like a lot of us, like myself, kind of grew up in a time like in the 80s and 90s, especially when it's like, certain cancers and quite a few were like a death sentence. It felt like, and it was like so many people, like there was only so far that treatment would go. That is kind of one amazing thing that I've like recognized and seen progress in the last like 10-15 years has been there have been such advances. And even with these like really serious cancers, like people are getting more time. Time is being extended. If like I think there's a lot of us who heard this diagnosis from Teddy and hearing now that she has another 2 years with these immunotherapies and hopefully longer, and that she beats it. But even just hearing that is like, wow, because I think there's a lot of us who are like, oh my God, like this is not good, So, and again, that could be just me and all the other people with anxiety out there who always go to like the worst case scenario and need to be reminded that, reality doesn't always go to the worst or the best. It's just different directions. So yeah, wishing Teddy all the best, and what great news that she got. Okay, let's also talk about her hinting about a possible return to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So she was asked about it on Two Teas in a Pod, and she said, I don't know. I haven't been told anything or asked anything. I have no idea. And this was Dolores Cantina, who she was talking to, who was, I don't know if she was a guest or she called in. It sounded like she was on the phone. I just watched the clip. Obviously, I don't listen to their podcast, but I will say that she was like, oh, well, Dolores was like, what could you possibly have going on in your life right now? And they kind of joked around because obviously she has a divorce and this medical thing. I wish Teddy all the best. Like I just said, do I want her back on my screen? Not particularly. Especially because she is going through real things. And I think that some of these other girls will, how do I say this? Get lazy and attach themselves to Teddy's storyline where she actually has things going on and expect that to carry the season. I'm just saying. Okay. And listen, I also think she is going through something so real that it's kind of like, let her just focus on that. I mean, listen, if the distraction helps you, then I'm all for it. As I said at the start of this podcast, I'm all about the distractions. But that being said, it's like, just because of all this, it doesn't necessarily mean like you're what's good for the show right now. I don't know if this is what the show needs. What I really don't think the show needs in general is more Fox Force 5 people. I think we need less of them actually on the show. Meanwhile, Alexia, Kyle's daughter, is engaged. She had an engagement party at Kyle and Mauricio's former family home. I don't know what we're calling it. Kyle and Mauricio wore matching colors. So there's that. Took some pictures together, etc. Kyle made a TikTok kind of making a joke about, her daughter, whatever, being in touch with her ex. And then and then Alexia's like, yeah, but he's my dad. And Kyle's like, whatever. So I guess they're at the phase where they can joke about it. So that's a good sign. And pretty much all the members of the Fox Force 5 were there. I think who wasn't? I think they were all there except Dorit, maybe, which makes sense because Dorit is kind of on the outs with the group. Yeah. So there you go. Now let's talk about, we are going to talk about mom talk. Okay. It is not Bravo. I understand, but I have just emerged from a hole, my couch, the butt groove on my couch, which was me watching all 10 episodes of this show this weekend. And I have mom talk, secret lives, etc. on the brain. If you would like my recaps of the secret lives of Mormon wives, head over to patreon.com/Bravo and Botox. I have released my recap of episodes 1 to 5, which I recapped as soon as I finished episode 5 before I had watched 6 to 10 to make sure you got like my fresh reactions. You can subscribe like the monthly subscription, which is $6 a month, or you can buy just an individual episode. So you can just buy the Secret Lives episode and that's it. And if that's all you want, cool. So yeah, it's there if you're interested. So Demi talks about being sexually assaulted on Vanderpump Villa. So apparently, according to Demi, and this is her like on the Vial Files podcast, she says that at Vanderpump Villa, she was groped by someone. And she did eventually open up to the girls about this, like the Mom Talk girls. She asked them not to say anything. She says, then Jesse, 2 weeks later, went on Sheena's podcast, Shenanigans, and revealed it. And Demi was so mad, which rightly so, called her right away and was like, what the fuck? Brett then chimes in and he says, Jessie has said many times to the group that her number one goal with Mom Talk and with being on the show is to be as famous as possible. Okay, listen, Jessie is dead wrong for revealing that on the Shenanigans podcast. But one other thing I'm going to say is don't pretend that that's not everyone's goal on this show, because it is. Like, end of story. You all want to get to like the level that like Taylor Frankie Paul is at, or if not more. Like, you're all thirsty as fuck. Let's just call a spade a spade. Meanwhile, on virtual reality, Jessie says, so Jessie's the one who like pretty much looks the same as Demi. It's crazy that they're feuding. It's like someone's feuding with their reflection in the mirror. It's wild. So Jessie says that she has Demi blocked on everything social media and they will never be friends again. The door is closed. There's no chance. And the hosts are like, oh my God. It's like shocking. Jessie and Layla, because Layla's also there, says it's convenient that Demi is friends with Whitney now. I mean, yeah, I think we all see that. And that most of them in the group are fine with Whitney, but it does kind of seem like it's the two of them against everyone else. Okay. Meanwhile, some of the clips of Demi from the Vial Files were posted on TikTok, obviously, and Jessie commented on one of them and said, maybe it's time I talk about how Brett asked my husband for $10,000 to pay his bills just a few months back. And then somebody replied and said, how could he be that deep in the hole with a wife making so much money? And Jessie replied, LOL, because he refuses to take brand deals under a certain amount. So turns down a lot and doesn't want to work like a dog, quote unquote. The God complex with these two is astounding. Oh my God. The Mormons are feuding, guys. Now, I have to say, it's like, of course, Jesse's going to say that. Can we take her word from it for it? But based on what I've seen from Demi this season, I kind of believe Jesse. Like, I do believe that her and Brett would be like, no, that brand deal's beneath us because like that's just like we only take ones that pay like 30,000 or more, whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, I can see it. I'm sorry. I can totally see it. Even if Demi wanted to take them, I could see Brett not wanting to. So I kind of believe this. Okay, now this other thing, I'm going to play this for you. I don't usually do this, but this interview is insane. So, okay, so they did. So I saw this clip floating around from Entertainment Tonight. So the Mom Talk girls are on Entertainment Tonight. They're doing an interview. They're all there. Demi gets asked a question that ends up involving Jen. I'm gonna let you listen, and it's insanity. And then it kind of breaks out into like a full argument in the middle of the interview. So at the start of the clip, the interviewer asks Demi about the crossover with Vanderpump Villa. So just to give you some context, that's what they're talking about.
Vanderpump Villa. Demi, can you set the record straight on that? I mean, what happened with you and Marciano?
Nothing happened on my end.
Okay.
That's all I'll say on that for now, because it has become a serious and like online matter and legal at this point. But nothing on my end. But he was definitely interested in me for sure.
And Jen, your reaction to that?
Well, apparently I have a cease and desist against me, so I'm not able to talk. Pull it up. Okay, well.
Also, really is the thing.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see the cease and desist that was served.
Okay,
pull it up.
Everyone knows about. Well, everyone knows that you tried to get.
Pull it up. If I sent one to you, you'd have proof.
Okay, well, I have many people to back me up on that.
Oh, pull it up. It's not hard.
Okay.
If it's in your email or text, pull it up.
Okay, but that was mentioned to me.
Oh, mentioned or you got served?
I will talk about Vanderpump Villa.
Mentioned or you got served?
I will talk about it right now.
Yep. Go ahead.
Sounds like you can't. Yeah, sounds like you can't.
Okay.
Is there anything you want to say?
But let's just say there's a reason why she tried to shut me up about it. There's a reason why she's played chess all season 2, as she knew that I talked about it. And so she's trying to make it very clear to the whole world that I'm some liar, but clearly she's the one lying. And I had the receipts.
Your husband called you a liar.
Oh, but you just wait and see.
Your husband called you a liar.
We pull up the receipts. You just wait for future seasons. That's all I have to say.
Okay. So I guess so Jen seems to be implying that she knows some secret about Demi, about something that happened at Vanderpump Villa that Demi doesn't want out there, and that Demi has sent a cease and desist. But then she's kind of like, well, no, I was told that there's been a cease and desist, even though she hasn't received one. Because at first she says she's got one, and then she can't, pull it up and produce the cease and desist when Demi pushes her. And Demi seems to be saying she can't talk about anything that happened at Vanderpump Villa because it's now like she says an online and legal matter, which I was kind of like, okay, but you did already talk about it on Vial Files if that's what she's talking about, unless she is moving forward with legal stuff or charges. So I don't know. So maybe there's an update on that. I'm assuming we're going to find out. And then so Jen is then implying that, with the whole cease and desist, and Demi's like, I never sent you one. And this was talked about on the show in season 2 as well, that there was some like cease and desist from Demi. She didn't want them talking about something specifically. Seemed like maybe it was Vanderpump Villa adjacent. But then it seemed like Jen was also implying that the whole reason that Demi was like, kind of like, I don't know, going after her this season and trying to like make her look bad and like ice her out of the group, which does seem like that was happening. And I think a lot of people watching were like, why are they giving Jen like no compassion, considering like that she's with this like not great husband and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, now Jen is saying it's because Demi's trying to shut her up. And then Jen is like, well, I can't wait for the new season because I know things. So I don't know. I guess we're going to find out. So can I have the next season like now? I'm assuming there's more of season 2 coming because the end of season 2, episode 10 was like to be continued. And usually they wouldn't say that if it was the end of the season. So I suspect, and I remember when the news of season 2 getting picked up came out, and I thought that they got like 20 episodes. Like for season 2, it was ordered like 15 or 20 episodes, and we only got 10. 10 is very short considering the unbelievable success of this show. Like everybody's watching this show. So how are we only doing 10 episodes? Oh, Jesus. Sorry, my clip started playing again. Okay, so what do we have next? Okay, we do have some Real Housewives of Atlanta news as well, because Portia went ahead and before Sunday's new episode, she posted this on Instagram. I'm gonna just say this. I'm watching new episode at Shamia Morton. So she tags her. Now, don't take it there. Don't imply shit about Diane Williams. I've been keeping it cute/quiet, and you can do and say what you want in me. But hear me when I say wrong road, in capitals, by the way. Talking about, well, your mom thought my mom was a friend, knowing goddamn well what she did to my mom was highly egregious. I need to know what happened between these moms. Because, like, how am I supposed to know whose side I'm on? Like, until I know I'm on Shamia's mom's side, though, I just want to say that. Okay. Don't do it. Keep playing victim and that BS. Don't F with my mom. Okay. So then the episode came out, and I was like, Portia, that's what you were posting about? Like, for real? Because I watched the episode and it wasn't even anything bad. Like Shamia, she mentioned that their moms like had a falling out, but she was still respectful and she didn't even like give us any details. She didn't tell us or say anything about what actually happened. She just mentioned that their moms had a fallout and that and I think she mentioned that Diane, like Portia's mom, I guess has kind of been like, well, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, like kind of thing about Shamia. But like, that's as far as it went. And Portia's acting like Shamia was like, fuck your mom. And I hate your mom. She's a bitch. Da, da, da. Like, she didn't say, and again, like, she didn't step over any lines, say anything, private or give up any private information. Like, this is crazy. Anyways, Portia did delete the post. So there's that, which always just shows that shows you everything you need to know, doesn't it? Meanwhile, she's not the only one taking to social media because Drew Sidora is replying to Ralph, who apparently his basement podcast, From the Basement, whatever the fuck it's called, him getting to film with, well, the producers in the show, and then also Portia and Shamia isn't enough because he's on social media tweeting away. So Ralph tweets, "Mama gotta watch her mouth. Don't you remember I saved you after you spent all your husband's money and had nothing? I was your angel then. Things change fast, doesn't it?" And then Drew Sidora retweets that and says, "Disrespecting my mother, especially on a public platform, is completely unacceptable. She's simply speaking from a mother's perspective based on what she witnessed. Please stop the unnecessary negativity and show some basic respect." Yes, exactly. Exactly. Drew is sorry, not Drew. Ralph is the worst. Like the worst. And I will never forgive Shamia and Portia for like having that sit down with him and asking him questions about the divorce and letting him tell his side. And I don't care if Bravo was doing it anyways. I really don't give a shit. I understand that I understand that like they are just being as messy as possible, but they should not have given him the platform. But I just think that was such a dirty thing to do. I just really didn't like that. And then Ralph also tweeted, Drew does an amazing job lying and playing victim. These RHOA fans believe anything. And then Drew said, Ralph does an amazing job as a peach holder. Exactly. Why is he getting so much of a platform? He's getting way more of a platform than PK or Mauricio are getting on Beverly Hills. Like, why is he getting like fucking like confessionals? And then he's getting to film with Portia and Shamia, which again, I blame them, but I also blame the show. Like, and then he's got like his own little perspective, like when they're going to the lawyer. Like, this man needs to go away. And then Drew also said, at Ralph Pittman Jr., don't speak about my father moving forward. Please allow his soul to rest in peace. Like, yeah, go away. God. He's like a, what did Garcelle say about Teddy? He's like a gnat. Like, just go away. Meanwhile, Portia wishes Shamia happy birthday on social media. And Shamia's like, oh, this made my day. Thank you, Portia. I appreciate that. So I don't know. I guess that maybe they're on the men's. I don't know. So, okay. Meanwhile, in the world of Portia's divorce, according to a source, Simon Gobadia was supposed to be released from ICE custody a few weeks ago. He remains in a Fulton County detention center. Simon's lawyers are trying to get the prenup hearing postponed. And the only issue with their argument is that ICE can take him to his court date. Simon's legal reps need to file a production order that gives ICE the green light to drag him down to divorce court. So I guess like they're trying to get the prenup hearing postponed because he's in ICE custody, but basically ICE can take him to court to have to deal with it and get the divorce done, which, yeah, hopefully they do. Because even though I can't stand Portia a lot of the time, you know, Simon still is terrible. So the judge presiding over the case has instructed Simon's lawyers to get the ball rolling on the production order so that ICE can bring him to court, divorce court. They rescheduled the hearing for June 11th. And even if ICE doesn't physically take him to the courthouse, he'll still need to show up to the hearing remotely. Okay, interesting. Meanwhile, Shamia and Kelly in an interview apologized, to Angela for laughing at Portia's comment about sleeping with Charles. And they clarify that she did not mention seeing Charles out with other women. It was Britt Eady who made that up, and they say lied about it. So I guess they're trying to clarify that it was not Portia who said she's seen Charles out with other women. That was Britt. Well, listen, at this point, the two of them are friends and they posted their Instagram picture together, so they're one and the same, okay? And by that, I mean I don't like either of them. Not that they're the same, because they're not the same, but I still don't like either of them. Okay, and we also have, I think this is our last show topic, subheading, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Where is it? I thought I had one more. I did. Oh, yes, RHONY news. Oh my God, Sonia Morgan hasn't been on TV for a while, still causing headlines. So apparently hysterical, quote unquote, Sonia Morgan has been blacklisted from a New York City Italian hotspot after refusing to pay a $1,000 bill that she thought was comped. Okay. So apparently she caused quite a scene at the NoHo hotspot Tucci on Saturday, because she was expecting the restaurant to comp her bill. She called the owner, Max Tucci, after being handed a $1,000 check, demanding a comp because, among other things, she's a single mother. Sonia, isn't your daughter like an adult? Like, she's like graduated college. Like, what are we talking about? You don't get to use the single mom thing anymore. I'm sorry. Once your kid is like grown up and out of the house, it's like, okay, we're done with that. Apparently, quote, according to a source who told Page Six, she was absolutely hysterical and refused to pay. It was like she was filming a Housewives episode shouting, I'm a celebrity. Yeah, see, that was why she kind of made good TV, because like she wasn't acting like she was filming. Like, that's Sonia, right? Apparently Morgan did pay the bill by Monday, including a tip. But she is now banned from the restaurant. Okay. So yeah, not good. Now, the other thing is that So she's been blacklisted from the restaurant. Oh, yeah. Sorry. There's one more thing before we go to the next part. But the owner says, it's not about me. Don't do that to my staff. The cost of everything is so expensive right now, and she's just taking advantage. There was no arrangement for her to have a comped dinner. She just wanted free food and service. Yeah, I agree. So Sonia decides to go on social media and clap back with some receipts that prove like literally nothing. So it's basically like Instagram DMs. And then it looks like, that maybe sometimes they like her story, or she like tags them or whatever. And then they send her a message that says, please, if you're in the city, come by for dinner. Yeah, that's not like come by and we're comping your dinner, Sonia. That's like, if you're in the city, come have dinner at my restaurant. That's like a way that restaurants promote themselves and get business. Like, she's out of her mind with that. Okay. Now, then we have another story about Sonia in a restaurant. Like, what is happening? So in Palm Beach, okay, she was taken out of a restaurant in an ambulance. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's like, we all know Sonia has problems. We all know, sorry, I should be calling her Sonia, not Sonia. I don't know why I've been saying Sonia. I know it's Sonia. We know Sonia has problems. We also know that she likely has an alcohol problem or some sort of substance abuse issue. I think everyone's kind of suspected that. But, these like kind of public restaurant outbursts is making me feel like, is she purposefully doing this because she's like trying to like show Bravo, like, look, I'm like a messy bitch, get me back on a show. I don't know. Like, is that like maybe even subconsciously? Because there is a part of me that thinks she is like totally lost without like the Bravo world and being like, I think for a long time that was kind of keeping her together. Like, I think she like lost the rich husband, her life fell apart. And I think like, you know, being famous and being on RHONY and kind of having that like job, for lack of a better term, it was something that kept her, at least afloat, even if she was still a complete mess when she was on the show. And I think now that she doesn't have that, she's had to like kind of downsize, and yes, I know she like moved to Florida or whatever, which obviously is less expensive than New York City. So it's kind of like, I wonder if she's melting down, and she needs help, quite frankly. So anyway, so she's at this restaurant in Palm Beach, and TMZ learned that she was given a trespass warning last night. They got these documents from the Palm Beach Police Department. She ended up taking an unexpected ride to the hospital, and there's video of it. And she's like screaming to these officers that responded to the call at Echo, which is in Palm Beach, Florida, on Thursday evening. So apparently she chatted with the Palm Beach police officers and restaurant staff for about 15 minutes before she hopped on a stretcher and was loaded into the back of an ambulance. Apparently, ironically, she called the ambulance for a friend who had fallen, but then she ended up being the one who was cared for, and they don't know how that happened. But yeah, it seems like the police department responded to a medical call along with fire personnel around 9:45 p.m. that night. So Sonia's reps have not said anything, but it was sent to Dumois as well. And there was somebody who like took a picture of her getting in the ambulance. And the person said, I was there with work people. And this is from a guy on my team, I guess, who took pictures of it. From my understanding, the police gave her two options: leave in the back of a cop car or leave in the ambulance. And she chose the ambulance. And then it says she was fucked with like 6 U's. She couldn't walk down the steps on her own. I don't know what happened inside. Ugh. Since then, more like video has been released of Sonia yelling, and it's just all not good. I don't know how else to say it. She needs help. Meanwhile, last thing for today, Andy Cohen clarifies on the RHONY cancellation rumors. I know we talked about this last week, but now I have more, I guess, from Andy. This is his direct quote from Radio Andy. He says, well, I mean, I don't know how else to say it. We're between seasons on The Housewife, but what's so interesting is last week when I was here, the Bravo execs met with 10 potential new Real Housewives of New York. Okay, so they're recasting. He doesn't say that, but come on. He's like, this is called the casting process between seasons, and it's heavily underway, and that's why nothing has been announced. So I don't know what to say. It's really odd. It just keeps going on and on. So there you go. Okay, so I think it's because there were reports that said that like filming is paused, like, or something like that. And again, I don't know where those reports came from. But at the end of the day, if they're interviewing a bunch of people and they're looking for new cast members, clearly, like, it seems like they're probably, again, I'm totally assuming because he didn't say this, but maybe in a way they're rebooting the reboot, which is so fucking crazy that they have to do this. But like, not that crazy considering what happened with these first 2 seasons. But yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a total recast, because maybe they're gonna keep like Jessel and like, you know, I don't know, Jessel, just, and then just build around that. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. But anyways, okay, we will see. Okay, everyone. So thank you again for joining in. Make sure you check out my Valley after show recap. Go over to the Patreon for bonus content. And you are now in the know for everything Bravo. See you next time. Bye. Thanks for listening, everyone. Your support really means everything to me. And this show wouldn't be possible without you, the listeners. So please, if you enjoy the podcast, leave a 5-star rating and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more, you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/Bravo and And for $5 a month, you'll get 4 extra podcast episodes a month. You'll also get early releases of Bravo Paper episodes and more. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel at The Bravo Papers and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at Bravo and Botox and at The Bravo Papers. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, you can at buymeacoffee.com/Bravo and Botox. You know, send your love through some much needed caffeine. And any guest that was on today's episode will be in the show notes, all their social media and contact information. So thank you so much, everyone. Keep overanalyzing Bravo.